Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I'm IWN. This is your Monday Night Raw review. If you guys are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on that bell for all notifications. Make sure you guys follow me on Facebook, add me on Snapchat, and you can follow me on Instagram too. Links are in the description below. We got a whole bunch of WWE and AEW Tuesday afternoon news to go over. We got major news on The Rock. We got news on Bianca Belair. And so much more. This week's episode of Monday Night Raw wasn't that bad. It was great. Outside of that freaking poker game crap that they had on there. It's the only thing that did not pique my interest on this show. I didn't enjoy that at all. Who wants to sit in their room for 10 minutes and watch a freaking JBL Invitational poker? I'm pretty sure nobody. Now, we're going to go ahead and immediately write the Monday Night Raw review. This is going to be one of the best reviews on the channel because I got a lot of good things to say. I got a lot of truthful things to say. And I'm going to tell you all the matches that I think is going to be on the card for Elimination Chamber going into February next year. I've told you last week, but I'm going to tell you again, just if you didn't know. And I am going to be posting my Elimination Chamber match card predictions on the community probably tomorrow. Don't forget, my NXT review will be live tomorrow for the first time since Bruce and Vince took over. Ever since Bruce and Vince took over, I stopped reviewing NXT quickly because I knew how terrible the shows would be with them being in charge. Now it's safe to say now I can start back reviewing NXT again now that Bruce is in charge. So my NXT will be live tomorrow afternoon. The AEW Dynamite watch along will be live tomorrow night, and then the review will be live shortly after that. So you hit the notify me button on my NXT deadline watch along because that's already been scheduled for Saturday, December the 10th, 2022. Deadline is coming on to this Saturday night at 8 p.m. The kickoff is going to be coming on at 7:30 p.m., but I'm going to be live with my deadline watch along at 7 o'clock p.m. because I'm going to have your WWE and AEW Saturday night news to go over. So I've already posted the schedule next week for the third week of December. So go check out what I have planned for next week here on IWN YouTube channel. The AEW Dynamite Winter is Coming watch along reviews will be live next Wednesday. And I think I will be streaming Xenoverse 2 this week. I want to try to buy the DLC and try to buy PlayStation Plus so I can start back streaming games again. Try to figure out how I'm going to get quality fixed, man. I'm still trying. Still trying. I'm talking about the quality for game streaming. Now, does anybody have any questions before I begin the Monday Night Raw review? Anybody has anything to say? What not? I guess not. I'm going to go again the Monday Night Raw review, guys. Let's try to get some more people in here as much as possible. I don't want no dead live chat. I hate to have a dead live chat. Please, I really appreciate it. Don't worry, this review's not going to suck. It's an actual review, by the way. This is not a watch along. Okay, get that out of your heads. Oh yeah, and by the way, to the negative AEW and WWE geeks, if you don't like the fact that I have Alexa Bliss on my thumbnail for the Raw review, you can A, go suck a dick, and B, kindly get out of my chat. Simple as that. Okay. Serious. I'm being dead serious, man. I hate for negative people to be coming in my live chat saying negative stuff that they shouldn't be saying. Oh, like, why do you have this on your thumbnail? Or why do you have that on your thumbnail? Dick, and kindly get the fuck out of my chest. That's simple. If you don't like Alexa Bliss, if you don't like the fact that I have Alexa Bliss on my thumbnail, or even if you don't like the fact that I have Seth Rollins on the thumbnail, and you better appreciate and respect my thumbnail and respect how much work I put into that. I did a hell of a good job with that thumbnail, man. Did a hell of a good job with the background too, like I always do. Now, the Monday Night Raw episode this week aired, and then, of course, as usual, the pyro shot off on the stage. We got the terrible Kevin Patrick and the amazing Corey Graves on commentary. Mike Rem was the ring announcer. We got the Bloodline members, Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, Sami Zayn, and Sikoa, which continues to be the best thing, the best storyline in all of WWE right now. Sami Zayn has one of the best gimmicks in the company. And the greatest faction in the modern day era, man. One of the greatest factions in all of WWE. Making their entrance. A footage aired from earlier in the day of the group arriving at the building and being approached by Byron Saxton. And by the way, the reason why I have Alexa Bliss on the thumbnail is because A, I'm a huge fan of Alexa Bliss. I think she's great. If anybody in the community, anybody negative in the community don't think she's great and has something negative to say to her in the live chat, I am immediately going to boot you. All right? And I'm a huge fan of Seth Rollins too. I don't like that I have Seth Rollins on the boot you from the chat. If you say anything negative about Seth Rollins. Or even if you say anything negative about Asuka or Bayley. Telling you, I'm not putting up with stupidity and negativity and retardedness this year and next year. I'm not going to be putting up with that. No more of that. No more freaking bots spamming my fucking chat. No more of that. I'm not going to let some bot spam my chat. Like, really. Now, a footage aired from the earlier in the day of the group arriving at the building, being approached by Byron Saxton for an interview. Matt Riddle drove through on his scooter. Elias walked around the corner and was hit from behind by Solo Sikoa. The Bloodline members put the boots to Elias and left him laying. This led to Kevin Owens replacing Elias. So Jimmy told the crowd that the Bloodline is now in their city. Jimmy said he had bad news in that their tag titles match had been canceled. Matt Riddle made his entrance, said it wasn't cool of the Bloodline to take out his tag team partner. Now, Riddle noted that it was Elias' chance to get WWE gold. Like, as if they were going to win that match. Clearly, they didn't win the match. Jimmy told the crowd that the Bloodline is now in their city. Jimmy said he had bad news and that their time match had been canceled. Matt Riddle made his entrance and said it wasn't cool with the Bloodline to take out his tag team partner. The fact that they claimed that we're going to win gold is never true. They never won, by the way. The Usos retained, just as I predicted. Just as I predicted was going to happen. Usos retained over Riddle and Kevin Owens. I said it last week. I said the Usos is retaining. Elias and Riddle is going to lose, and Elias is going to turn on Riddle, but that didn't happen. WWE is trying to cover that up. See, I told you, WWE's hiding stuff that I already know. They're hiding stuff that JD already knows. The smart guys in the community. They're hiding stuff that smart guys in the community already know, man. It's going to happen, though, eventually. WWE knows they can't keep that for long. Just like they're keeping the Alexa Bliss and Bianca Belair feud secret. We know it's happening. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that here in a minute. Riddle said it wasn't very Uzi of the bloodline. Hold up, my dog. Zayn told Riddle. Zayn said, Riddle isn't the one who decides what is and is not Uzi. Now, Zayn labeled himself an Uziologist, which that sounded phenomenal. That sounded really perfect. He said it perfectly. There was no problem with what Zayn said. Geeks Online thought it was a problem. I don't know why. Zayn said what Sikoa did to Elias was Uzi. Zayn said that the Usos, being the longest reigning tag team champions in history, is Uzi. Zayn said coming out and thinking he had a chance to beat the bloodline was not Uzi. Zayn told Riddle that unless he wanted to suffer the same fate as Elias, he should turn around and go home. So then he found a tag team partner for the title match, which I said earlier, Kevin Owens. It's not really bros with him, but they both hate the bloodline. Owens made his entrance. Owens and Riddle headed to the ring for the tag title match. Pat played up the fact that the Usos didn't have a chance to prepare for, facing Owens. So, I'm really not surprised that they didn't run the injury angle online and announce Owens as his replacement, because the new match is much more appealing than the advertised match, to be honest. Now, they did something similar on Friday Night SmackDown with Drew McIntyre, who announced that he wouldn't be medically cleared to team with Sheamus to challenge for the tag team titles on Friday night, which I can do on that. We're going to go over that when I give you guys your AEW Tuesday afternoon news, which will be after the Monday Night Raw review, as I said earlier. So we got Jey Uso and Jey Uso with Sami Zayn at ringside versus Matt Riddle and Kevin Owens for the undisputed WWE Tag Team titles. Now, this was a good match. I mean, it wasn't really too bad at all. Now, Kevin Owens and Matt Riddle being booked against the Usos goes to show that the Monday Night Raw tag team division is lacking. There's less tag teams in that division than there's more tag teams in that division. I mean, you only got Street Profits and Alpha Academy. All they got to do is call up the Creed brothers and Mustafa, and you'll have two teams in that division right there. And call up in this year, you'll have 5 tag teams in that division. You'll have a solid tag team division right there. You have, at that point, you'll have Alpha Academy, you'll have the Street Profits, you'll have Mustache Mountain, you'll have the Creed brothers, and this year. That's a solid tag team right there, if you ask me. Doesn't get any better than that. And you bring Tucker back. You have Otis reunite with Tucker. You have Heavy Machinery on Monday Night Raw. I mean, that's as good as it gets right there. But no, they want to continue to have the same tag teams on TV every fucking week on Monday Night Raw as if it's okay. Really. Give me a break. Owens got off to a strong start, causing Jey to head to the ringside. Owens followed and ran Jey into the barricade, heading into a commercial break. The Usos took offensive control. Jey pumped up Riddle and hit him with that breaker that resulted in a near fall, heading into another break. Late in the match, Riddle Jey to ringside. Zayn helped Jey to his feet. Owens came over. Sikoa went face to face with him. Riddle went for a dive onto the Bloodline members. Zayn pulled up Jay out of the way. And when he did that, Riddle only landed on Sikoa. Jay took out Owens with a super kick. Riddle barked at Zayn, then ran to the ring, not realizing. Apparently, he did not realize that Jimmy had back in. Usos hit 1D on Riddle, and then Jay pinned him. So, pretty much, Jimmy and Jey Uso defeats Matt Riddle and Kevin Owens to retain the WWE Undisputed Tag Team Championships. Now, after the match, the Usos and Zayn attacked Riddle. Owens returned to the ring and hit the Usos with chairs, which caused Zayn to run away. Owens chased the heels to the back. In the ring, Sikoa super kicked Riddle and then threw punches at him. Sikoa picked up Riddle and used his taped thumb to spike Riddle, paying tribute to Umaga, by the way. I said for months, I've said Solo Sikoa is the next Umaga and Samoa Joe in WWE. And look at, and here I am right again, because he paid tribute to Umaga. There was news on that. There's news on that. We're going to go over that too. Here I was right again, man. Sikoa performed a hip attack on Riddle in the corner. Sikoa went to ringside, brought back a chair. Sikoa wrapped the chair around Riddle's head and hit him with another hip attack. Sold neck damage while Sikoa looked down at him. Sikoa put his hood up, walked to the back while EMTS stretched Riddle out of the ring. The ambulance, in other words. Sikoa stomped near the stage and looked back. Now, the usual quality entertaining tag team title defense from the Usos, as usual. Typical, man. Given that the Usos are the greatest tag team of all time. The greatest tag team you could ever book and use on WWE television. I like how this match was written and produced and booked right. It was booked spot on perfectly. This didn't really feel like no 50-50 booking. This felt like the booking from the Triple H administration. Felt like Triple H and his writers wrote this show. His writers produced the show as well. Well, actually, it felt like Triple H and his writers and producers produced the show. Put it that way. But, you know, typical amazing tag team match, even though Matt Riddle and Kevin Owens are not really a tag team. They were just booked in that tag team match. I'm surprised they didn't do the angle to set up the match for later in the show last night, rather than dividing right into it. Now, it's already a big night for Sikoa, who has taken out Elias and Riddle. On a side note, no luck for those of you who were hoping to see the second part of the Teddy Hart true crime documentary after Raw last night, which that seemingly comes on every Monday nights after Monday Night Raw goes off the air, I'm guessing. Anyways, USA Network was airing Bermageddon instead, or whatever that is. I don't know what that show is. The broadcast team hyped the direct qualifiers for next week's #1 contenders match for the shot at the Raw Women's Championship. But going back to what I was saying about the tag team match, they were given a good amount of time to make this a competitive contest. All four men, the Usos, Jimmy, Jay, Kevin Owens, and Matt Riddle looked good. The match as a whole did felt like a countless at times, but other than tag team contests we have seen, it was good. It didn't stand out for any reason other than the challengers being a bit of an odd couple. which I said earlier, Kevin Owens and Matt Riddle are not really a tag team. They were just booked in that match to get the Usos over. Simple as that. The Usos were able to retain the titles by pinning Riddle with the 1D. Of course, we know that because I already said that. Zayn trying to correct Riddle. One thing for sure, Zayn trying to correct Riddle about what Usi means shouldn't have been as funny as it was. That is how good Zayn is. That's how great his gimmick is. That's how great Sami Zayn is getting over in WWE on the main roster. Solo Sikoa decimating Riddle was the best part of the first half hour of the show. It really was. No question about it. He is going to be a great character for years to come. And he's already the next Umaga and Samoa Joe in WWE. Already, easily. Now, Rhea Ripley delivered a promo about facing Asuka and Bayley later on in the show, while Dominique Mysterio, Finn Balor, and Damian Priest stood by. She said the whole locker room would call her Mommy. The broadcast team recapped highlights of the opening match. The opening match finish, the post-match angle. JBL's Poker Invitational was taking place with various wrestlers, which I thought was the bad part about the show. I didn't like it. I mean, who wants to sit 20 minutes and watch a boring poker game? I mean, come on. Various wrestlers playing at a bar of tables backstage. JBL welcomed the wrestlers to his poker game. Luke Gallows, Karl Anderson, Chad Gable, and the happy garbage known as Baron Corbin were playing at one table with Mia Yim and Otis stood by. The second table had Dominique Mysterio, Akira Tozawa, Shelton Benjamin, Dana Brooke, and Tamina. Dexter Lumis and Johnny Gargano showed up. Lumis had his bag of cash that he won from Miz. JBL was going to blow him off, but he dumped the cash on the table and was then allowed to play. Sounds like something Nikki Cross would do if she was in the poker game. You know what she would say, right? I want to play. Play. Nikki Cross would have fit good in this freaking poker games. Even though I'm at the same time, I'm glad that she wasn't. I'm glad she was booked in the match rather than being in JBL's Poker Invitation. Bayley made her entrance. Becky Lynch walked out from the old Shield entrance area. Well, I mean, coincidental, she is dating Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins used to always come out with that Shield entrance when he was a member of the Shield. When Roman Reigns, he came out with Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose. Man, imagine that. Remember when the Shield was actually a thing in WWE, when they actually came out? Man, the Shield is still, to this day, one of my favorite tag teams in all of WWE. One of my favorite factions, man. NWO is another one. The Bloodline is getting more over than the NWO in WWE, man. For real. And I thought I gave out the news about that last week. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. But Lynch said she was reminiscing about beating up Bayley and her friends at the merchandise table. Lynch walked down the steps into the ring while talking about how it had been since Bayley, had a singles match. Lynch said Bayley carried the company on her back during the Thunderdome era. Lynch said that she returned and then Bayley was gone. When Bayley returned, Lynch ended up being gone. Bayley took issue with Lynch interrupting her and said Lynch thinks she can do whatever she wants. Lynch confirmed that to be true. Bayley said the spotlight is always on Lynch when she's around. Lynch smiled, looked at the crowd, which responded with a Becky chant. Bayley said Lynch doesn't care about the fans. Bayley claimed that she cares about everyone. Bayley scolded the fans for not caring about what she's trying to do for the company. Another Becky chant broke out. Lynch said damage control had been successful, then corrected herself and said that 2/3 of the group are champions, or should I say 2/3 of the group are champions, while the other is a loser. She said she hopes Bayley wins her match so they could go one-on-one and make some history if she's woman enough, if she's woman enough. I thought she was going to say if she's man enough to face the man, if she's woman enough to face the man. Lynch left the ring. Well, she said it right, though. Rhea Ripley made her entrance as Lynch was walking toward the back. We got an intense stare down between Lynch and Ripley, staring at one another. Hey, referee, get your minds out of the gutter. They were not going to kiss and make out. That's what the negative WWE stains are thinking in the community. No. Get your minds out of the gutter. That's not what was happening. Now, and if they did that, Seth Rollins would be fucking absolutely irate and absolutely pissed. A referee came out and tried to talk them down while they stared at one another intensely. Can you imagine Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch as a couple feuding with Rhea Ripley and Buddy Matthews as a couple on Monday Night Raw? Given that Seth Rollins and Buddy Matthews have a history, you know, Buddy Matthews was Seth Rollins was more like the Messiah, and Buddy Matthews was more like his lackey. Now, Ripley walked past Lynch, and they both turned and maintained eye contact. Ripley teased going to the ring, then went face-to-face with Lynch again. Lynch wished her good luck, and then Ripley headed to the ring. Now, while I can get excited, just like you guys can as well, about seeing Lynch versus Bayley in terms of assuming it will be a strong match, it doesn't really, I mean, it means a lot, but at the same time, it doesn't mean much right now because Bayley has struggled since she returned. Conversely, Lynch versus Ripley feels like a money match. Happen, Extreme Rules, if you. But I think at the same time we should get Lynch versus Bayley at Elimination Chamber and Rhea Ripley versus Mia Yim for Elimination Chamber. Now Lynch versus Rhea Ripley for Elimination Chamber sounds great too. But I think I would rather see Lynch versus Bayley and Rhea Ripley versus Mia Yim for Elimination Chamber. I think that's the right way to go about it. Because right now, Lynch is not feuding with Rhea Ripley. Lynch is feuding with Bayley. We need to focus on the feuds, not focus on getting the feuds mixed up. If you book Lynch versus Rhea Ripley, WWE is going to essentially get the feud stuff. Ouch! I hit my hand. Yeah, I'm okay, guys. I hit my freaking hand. That's what happens when you're right, when you're telling the truth. I wasn't lying, I mean. Asuka made her entrance for the first triple threat match. Now, we got Asuka versus Bayley versus Ripley in a triple threat qualifier for next week's #1 contender match. Now, Graves said he hoped to see a return to form for Asuka, who was among the most feared wrestler in the company not all that long ago. Ripley used her power on both opponents to gain an early advantage. Asuka and Bayley teamed up to run Ripley through the ropes and into the ring post. Bayley took Asuka to ringside and ran her into the barricade. Ripley returned to diving from the apron onto both opponents, heading into a break. So it was hour 2 Monday Night Raw. and Asuka caught Ripley in an armbar. But Bayley leaped off the middle rope onto Asuka to break it up, covered her for a 2 count. Ripley performed a Northern Light suplex on Bayley for a 2 count, and then Ripley put Asuka in electric chair position and then slammed her face first to the mat. Ripley covered Asuka, who kicked out. Ripley kicked Bayley off the apron and then went to the ringside and for a cannonball dive up the ring steps. Bayley then moved, causing Asuka, or should I say Ripley, to crash and burn. Bayley returned to the ring and ate a series of strikes. Asuka went for a drop kick from the middle rope. Bayley moved out the way. Bayley hit the Rose Plant and pinned Asuka for the 1, 2, and guess what? 3. So, Bayley winning match is an indication that she has inserted herself into next week's #1 contenders match. Alexa Bliss also inserted herself into next week's #1 contenders match. We're going to go over that third match that Alexa Bliss was in a little bit. So, Asuka losing pretty much means that there will be nothing else for her to do right now. I wouldn't be surprised if Nikki Cross's next feud ends up being with Asuka after she feuds with Candice LeRae. Rhea Ripley losing is a sign that Rhea Ripley is going on to continue her feud. I think she's going to go on to continue her feud with Mia Yim. I think that's the right call right there. I mean, there's nobody else on there right now for her to feud with besides Mia Yim. I think it's safe to say after she feuds with Mia Yim, we could see Rhea Ripley feuding with Becky Lynch, probably either heading towards the Royal Rumble or maybe after Elimination Chamber. It's safe to say that in March, that's when we'll probably start to see the Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair feud start to take place. Somewhere in March, I believe, in my honest opinion. Don't be surprised if I end up being right. Because WrestleMania is in April, it would make sense to start the Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley feud in March, at the beginning of March. Then after the match, Rhea returned, attacked Asuka. Ripley hit her Riptide finisher on Asuka. Ripley held her right arm at her side and had some discoloration on her shoulder. Seth Rollins was shown dancing with the camera backstage. Patrick said Rollins would face Bobby Lashley for a future shot at the United States Championship. I can tell you right now, 100%, I can tell you right now that what I'm about to tell you is factual information, and that is that Seth Rollins is coming into Monday Night Raw next week and coming out of Monday Night Raw as the #1 contender for Austin Theory's United States Championship. There's no way in hell Bobby Lashley's winning this match. There's no way in hell. No, it's not happening. We are getting Rollins versus Austin Theory for the United States Championship at Elimination Chamber. There's no way we're getting it at Royal Rumble. Austin Theory and Seth Rollins need to be inserted into the Royal Rumble. There's no way we should be seeing that match on the Royal Rumble. It needs to be booked for Elimination Chamber. Save Austin Theory versus Seth Rollins for the United States Championship for the Elimination Chamber. I don't want to hear some freaking doctor, some freaking journalist saying we need the match to be booked for the Royal Rumble. No, that's not what we need. Then you're going to have some guy, some geek in the chat complaining, oh, why you don't want to see Austin Theory versus Seth Rollins for the Royal Rumble? Because it doesn't make sense to book Seth Rollins versus Austin Theory for the United States Championship at the Royal Rumble. I'm sorry. It just doesn't. It's the way I feel about it. It makes sense for that match to be held at Elimination Chamber. They're going to essentially book like 7 or 8 matches, and we're probably more men's matches and probably either 4 or 5 women's matches for Elimination Chamber. From the looks of these feuds that I'm seeing on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. For a Royal Rumble, we're probably more than likely going to only get like 5 or 6 matches. And I can guarantee you one of them is going to be Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. There's no way in hell that Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns, there's no way that Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns are inserting themselves into the Royal Rumble. I don't know if Roman Reigns will be in the Royal Rumble this year. I think the Universal Championship match is going to happen at the Royal Rumble. Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens is happening for Elimination Chamber. I don't care what anybody says. Book it for Elimination Chamber, man. That's the way to go about it. And I think we are getting, unfortunately, sadly, I have a bad feeling that we're getting Raquel Rodriguez on the Trazy for the SmackDown Women's Championship at Royal Rumble. Good. Ronda Rousey shouldn't be in the Royal Rumble. She doesn't need to be. Raquel Rodriguez, I know she's going to be upset that she's going to miss her time to be in the Royal Rumble. She might even insert herself into the Royal Rumble. So she might be in 2 matches for the Royal Rumble. Who knows? They don't need to be doing that. 1 match is enough for Raquel Rodriguez. Okay? I'm pretty sure there's women over on NXT who would love to insert themselves into the 2023 Royal Rumble. Women such as Cora Jade, Adriana Grace, Kiana James, Tiffany Stratton, Alba Frey, Kaylee Ray. They need to change her name back to Kaylee Ray. The Alba Frey name is not getting it for her. All those talents from NXT, I'm sure, love to insert themselves into the Royal Rumble. And even the clients. We're going to start seeing those talents in the Royal Rumble. Triple H is not going to sit there and freaking add the divas, and the WWE former female stars from the Attitude Era to the Royal Rumble. I wouldn't be surprised if he does or doesn't. Either way. But we need to start seeing female talents from the NXT in the Women's Royal Rumble. That's how I feel about it. Get them, this gives an opportunity to give them a feel, you know, like a tease, sort of like a sneak peek of who's going to be. This gives them an opportunity to get them a sneak peek of who they're going to see when they get called up to the main roster. You know, shit like that. You guys get what I'm saying, I hope. Anyways, Seth Rollins was shown dancing for the camera backstage. I already read it. Patrick Rollins will face Bobby Lashley next week for a future shot at the United States Championship, which Rollins is going in and going out of it as the #1 contender for Austin Theory's United States Championship. Now, for those who missed it, the winner of the 2 triple threats will meet in a singles match next week to earn a future shot at the Raw Women's Championship. I'm going to go ahead and tell you now. I might even mention it again, that Alexa Bliss is going one-on-one with Bayley next week to determine the #1 contender for Bianca Belair Raw Women's Championship. Alexa Bliss is already the #1 contender for Bianca Belair, easily the #1 contender for Bianca Belair Raw Women's Championship. For the simple fact that A, she's going in Monday Night Raw, and she's walking out of Monday Night Raw as the #1 contender for the Raw Women's Championship. Number 2, she's a perfect opponent for Bianca Belair. It makes sense. This would be a great first-time matchup. And number 3, this sets up their feud. And Alexa Bliss is that damn good in the fucking ring, okay? And she looks good, too. All right? Simple as that. Well, you're not getting Bayley versus Bianca Belair. I know the Bayley geeks in the community are thinking, Bayley's going to win. She's going to be #1 contender for the Raw Women's Championship. No, she's not. The way Damage Control's been doing, the way Damage Control's been booked and used like dog shit on TV, you really think Bayley's going to win that match now? I feel bad for Damage Control. They need to get Bayley away from Io Sky and Cody. They need to break up Damage Control. It's time. It's time for them to break them up. Them losing on the main roster should not be happening right now. But it is. But it is. What's what happens when you have so much talent on the Raw and SmackDown rosters? That's what happens when you're doing too many things at once. Triple H and his administration needs to take their time. They don't need to be doing too many of these storylines and feuds on TV. They need to make, first of all, they need to make sure the shows are written and produced right. Secondly, they need to make sure the storylines are straight and not mixed up. If you mix up this storyline with that storyline, it's not going to do any good. It's going to be terrible television at that point. And then all the fans are going to get confused. They're going to be like, whoa, who is this guy feeling with for? Who is this person feeling with? You know what I'm saying? It's going to get confusing. You can't confuse the audience and the fans and the community like that. You can't. You just can't do that. But I have faith. My faith is put in Triple H. He knows what he's doing. He's doing a hell of a good job. Him and his administration. He's doing better than what Vince and Bruce couldn't do. I tell you that much. He is doing better than Vince and Bruce. Doing way better than Vince and Bruce right now. I mean, look at all the returns we got in WWE. We got the turn Karen Cross, Scarlett, Johnny Gargano, Candice LeRae. Triple H is doing wonders for himself right now as head of creative and talent relations. As the new chairman of WWE, might as well start to call him a chairman now. I mean, he runs everything now. Might as well call Triple H the new chairman of WWE. Now, they sure seem to be foreshadowing Lynch versus Bayley earlier. That's going to be for Elimination Chamber, whether people like it or not. I don't care. If you don't like my opinion, you can kindly get out of my chat. I don't care. I assume the Lynch and Ripley stare down was meant to build long-term anticipation. It's going to be a Royal Rumble moment between the two. Bayley and Rhea Ripley will insert themselves into the Royal Rumble. I don't see Rhea Ripley versus Lynch being booked for the Royal Rumble. I see them inserting themselves into the Royal Rumble. I think it would be better for them to do that right now. Given that Rhea Ripley's continuing her feud with Mia Yim and Lynch is continuing her feud with Bayley. Now, I know what I mean by long-term anticipation. In other words, it's meant to be built long-term booking. Long-term booking. Something I have never said before until now. Something new I've said in this review. It's meant to be built for long-term booking, in my opinion, as far as Rhea Ripley and Lynch goes. That stare down they had. Now, it's interesting that Grace mentioned that he'd like to see a return to form for Asuka. Hopefully, that's a hint that Asuka will be getting some type of a makeover to freshen up her act. On a side note, maybe the spike will, I guess, be a regular part of Sikoa's act, or if they were simply paying homage to Umaga one day after the anniversary of his death, which is what I think. Anyway. But the broadcast team acknowledged Drew McIntyre's social media announcement that he won, or that he won't be medically cleared to wrestle on Friday Night SmackDown. Unfortunate. That's sad for Drew McIntyre. I mean, he would be a huge addition to this week's episode of SmackDown. Well, he already is. Drew McIntyre is SmackDown's megastar, man. When you have stars like Drew McIntyre missing SmackDown, man, you know the show's not going to be good. But we can't hold out hopes because last week's SmackDown was great. You know, just like last week's episode of Monday Night Raw was great. We'll have to see what's booked for SmackDown. I have to find out. I don't even think they've announced any matches for SmackDown. Oh, yeah, you know what? Yeah, they did. They did because last week I did went over the news on what's booked for SmackDown. Obviously, Current's celebration. We're getting Raquel Shotzi versus Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey. And much more things that are going to happen on this week's episode of SmackDown. Yes, guys, I see. I booted the guy out of the chat. Don't worry. I know it's a scammer. I booted that person immediately out of the chat as soon as I saw the spamming comments. Same thing over and over and over. See, this is what I mean. This is what I'm talking about. I hate when people spam in the live chats when I'm reviewing. When I'm trying to review Monday Night Raw or SmackDown or NXT, every time I go live my reviews, there's somebody always in the chat spamming. I can't stand that. Like, if you're going to be doing that, do that on someone else's time, not on my time. They also announced that Butch will take his place by teaming with Sheamus in the tag title match on SmackDown. Seth Rollins made his entrance. Once in the ring, Rollins told the crowd he had breaking news and then told them that he would face Bobby Lashley next week for a shot at the United States title. Rollins had the crowd sing his song again until they were interrupted. Bobby Lashley made his entrance in non-wrestling attire. Lashley played to the crowd, slapped hands as he walked to the ring. A Bobby chant broke out. Lashley asked Rollins what he wanted to tell him. And then told him to be careful. Rollins said Lashley hasn't been the same since he lost to Brock Lesnar at Crown Jewel. Now, Rollins said there's no shame in losing to Lesnar and added, "We've all been there." Seth Rollins certainly been there. He's lost to Brock Lesnar a few times before. See how honest Seth Rollins is with his gimmick, man? Wow. Another one of the best gimmicks in all WWE, Seth Rollins' new gimmick. I love his new one, man. That theme song is getting over with the crowd in lots of ways. It's getting over with the fans every week. Every time he comes out with that theme song, they start singing it. You love to see it, man. Roy asked Lashley about his obsession with Lesnar and questioned whether Lashley is afraid of Lesnar. Lashley said he knew that Rollins was just trying to get under his skin. Rollins said if Lashley isn't scared, he must be jealous of Lesnar because he's a bigger star and has won more championships. Rollins tried to say that Lesnar had the career that Lashley wished he had. Maybe, or perhaps this is setting up a Lesnar-Lashley match for the 2023 Royal Rumble. This could be a sign that Lesnar could be coming back to Raw next week. Maybe. The way he mentioned Lesnar, it sounds to me like the way he mentioned Lesnar is scene landing for Lesnar's return. The way they had Rollins mention Lesnar's name. That's what it seemed like. I would not be surprised if Brock Lesnar returned what we got next. Wouldn't be surprised. Given that the Royal Rumble is in January. It's in a month, which will be next month. But it's obviously not this month because the only pay-per-view that is this month, the only WWE pay-per-view that's this month is the NXT Deadline. That's the last pay-per-view that we're going to see for now. The first pay-per-view going into 2023 is the Royal Rumble. The second one is the Elimination Chamber. And obviously, The third one is probably NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver, and then it's WrestleMania. I might be right. Not sure. Let me know in the live chats if I'm right, guys. Or let me know in the comments when the stream ends, when the review ends, if I'm right. Now, Lashley grabbed Rollins by the collar after Rollins tried to say that Lesnar had the career that Lashley wished he had, and said wasn't about Lesnar. He said it wasn't about Lesnar, says Bobby Lashley. And then he says it was about him. And Rollins meeting next week for him and Rollins meeting next week for a shot at the United States title. That's what this is about. It's not about Lesnar. It's not about when Lesnar's coming back. It's not about Lesnar getting over Bobby Lashley in the big way and all that shit. No. Rollins said Lashley needs to get his head right when it comes to his frustration over not being able to beat Lesnar, or it will easily beat him next week. In other words, it'll be easier to beat him. Lashley punched Rollins. Lashley and Rollins fought to ringside. Adam Pearce, producers, referees ran out, pulled them apart. Lashley teased leaving while Rollins was being held back in the ring. Lashley returned to the ring and was pulled apart again. Lashley went for a spear on Rollins, but he ended up spearing the producer, Pete Williams, instead. Byron Saxton asked Austin Theory for comments on the Rollins and Lashley brawl. Theory said he saw the past and said both men are oblivious, obviously, to how the business has moved on from both of them. Now, Theory said forever is just the beginning. Theory turned to walk away and bumped into Mustafa Ali, who accused him of writing checks that he can't cash. Theory told Ali that he's annoying and told him he should just quit. Ali said he has to fight for everything. He said he'll get back up and beat Theory to become United States champion, which he lost that match, which Theory retained over Ali. We're going to go over that match in a minute. Theory told Ali to get dressed because they could have the match. Theory told Ali that he didn't want to hear the word opportunity come out of his mouth ever again. An ad aired for the new Peacock documentary, Becoming Ric Flair, that premieres on December the 26th, 2023. JBL's poker game continued. AJ Styles was with Anderson and Yim as they stood by Gallows while he played in a shocking twist. Loomis has a great poker face, which fooled Corbin into losing a hand. Corbin accused Loomis of cheating. Loomis pulled an axe out from underneath the table and placed it on the pot. At the other table, Dom told Tozawa that Raw is his show. And he gets what he wants, or Judgment Day has a problem with you. Now, JBL told them to go outside if they wanted to fight. Dom and Tozawa agreed to meet one another inside the ring. Now, I gotta ask, man. I gotta ask. Is this poker tournament an early Christmas gift to Vince McMahon? Meanwhile, Ali ditched the bad braids. It looks so much better, at least in the opinion of this old viewer. This poker tournament was boring. Waste of time. The only bad thing on the show was the poker tournament. This was a waste of time, dude. Absolutely, easily the boringest thing on this week's episode of Monday Night Raw. That interest for the U.S. title match took place. We got Austin Theory versus Mustafa Ali for the United States Championship. Mike Rome delivered in-ring introductions for the title match. This is Austin Theory's first title defense as two-time United States champion. Ali performed an early suicide dive. Ali tried to throw Theory backstage, or should I say back inside the ring, but Theory ended up running Ali into the ring post in the barricade. Actually, come to think of it, I think this is Austin Theory's first time holding WWE Championship gold on the main roster. Not on NXT, but on the main roster. I think this is his first title that he's held on the main roster. He might even be a two-time United States champion. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to look Austin Theory up and see. I'll let you guys know whether I'm right or wrong or not. I might be wrong. But I'll admit sometimes when I'm right and wrong. I mean, we all have times where we're right and wrong. That's usually how it is. Ali performed an early suicide dive. Ali tried to throw Theory back inside the ring. Theory ended up running Ali into the ring post in the barricade. Ali went for a top rope Hurricane Rana that was botched. Unfortunately, both men seemed to be okay. He followed up to an AODT for a near fall. Ali went to the ropes, was stopped, eventually tripped and tied up in a tree of wool. Theory kicked Ali, then worked him over with punches. Suddenly, Dolph Ziggler showed up in the ring and superkicked Theory for a DQ finish. After the match, Ali was upset with Dolph Ziggler for costing him the match. Ali and Ziggler beggared. Theory returned to the ring, shoved Ziggler into Ali, then ran Ali through the ropes and into the ring post. Theory performed his 8-count down finisher on Ziggler. Theory stood over Ziggler and held up the U.S. title belt. Now, the butch spot was frightening. It seemed like there was miscommunication with Theory actually going for the Hurricane Rana. While Theory seemed to think that, he was supposed to stuff the move, and then it ended up taking the move awkwardly. The DQ finish was weak. It really was. No shit. It seemed like this was meant to move Ali away from Theory and into a program with Ziggler. I mean, I'm pretty sure nobody wants to watch Ziggler on TV. The ending was not ideal. The fact that Theory has Ziggler, Ali, Lashley, Rollins all chasing the U.S. title makes it feel like one of the most sought-after belts in all of WWE. Just saying. Just saying, man. Nonetheless, as far as the match goes, for real, it was a solid competitive performance from two young stars who both want to prove they deserve a top spot in 2023. Even though Ali has been booed terribly in recent months, he continues to put on fantastic matches. Now, however, like I said, they came close to having a dangerous butch from the top rope. And thankfully, both men appeared to be fine and recovered right away with a tornado DT that gave Ali a near fall. Other than that, the one spot was a good display of their skills. It really was. So, now, one thing I want to note here is that Ali and Theory had a backstage segment that led to this U.S. title match being booked. Theory is finding his groove with this more serious version of his character. That's one thing that you guys should need to know. Now, JBL was on the phone outside his poker room with The Miz when The Miz actually showed up. The Miz said there must have been an oversight because he wasn't invited to play. JBL said he didn't know Miz played and told him there was a $50,000 buy-in. Said he didn't have cash and offered his Rolex, which JBL informed him was not real. Miz walked away. JBL went back to his phone call. The poker game continued with Corbin winning a big hand over Gallows. When Corbin reached for the pot, cards fell out of his sleeve. Styles and Corbin pushed and shoved. JBL threw a fist. He said that they were barbarians who were ruining his poker game. The OC agreed to face Corbin and Alpha Academy in the match. JBL called them all idiots. Gargano assumed that Loomis won. Loomis tossed the dealer a wad of cash as a tip. The Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair was interviewed by Kathy Kelly on the backstage interview set. Kelly asked for a prediction regarding who would face Bayley in next week's number one contenders match. Belair went into politician mode by making a case for all of them. She said they would have to be ready for her because she stays ready, so she doesn't have to get ready. The OC made their entrance for the six-man tag match. Broadcast team recap highlights of the opening match and the post-match angle. Additional footage on the third hour of Monday Night Raw was shown of Riddle being placed in an ambulance in the back. JBL made his entrance, followed by Baron Corbin and Alpha Academy. I think this is a written storyline as far as my entrance go. That's the same thing I said about William Regal when William Regal was put in the back of the ambulance truck and taken away to the hospital. I think this is a storyline injury, in my opinion. Let me know what you guys think it was, whether you agree with me or not. Now, the OC's AJ Styles, Luke Gallows, Karl Anderson with BAM versus Chad Gable, Otis, and Baron Corbin. JBL sat on commentary. Styles tagged in a few moments into the match. Went on an offensive flurry until Gable held the top rope down, causing Styles to tumble to ringside. Otis clothesline Gable out to the floor. So once Otis clothesline Gable onto the floor, by mistake, JBL wondered if Kurt Angle would acknowledge that he was retired by Corbin when WWE celebrates his birthday on Friday. Styles was isolated. Corbin hit him with a deep six. I'm pretty sure Kurt Angle wasn't going to hear that BS. He's probably going to have something to say about JBL. And then Gable covered him for a deep fall a short time later. Anderson caught Gable leaping off the ropes, put him down with a spine buster. Anderson had the pin. Corbin broke it up. It was rapid fire, big spot time for everyone involved. Otis performed an impressive suplex on Gallows, but Styles hit Otis with a phenomenal forearm. Gable performed a German suplex on Styles. Anderson and Gable traded shows with Anderson getting the I'm guessing Anderson and Gable traded blows with Anderson getting the better of it before he tagged in Gallows. Gable went for a rolling suplex on Anderson. Gallows stuffed it, and then he and Anderson hit Gable with a magic killer for the win. And that was it. Alexa Bliss was shown warming up in the backstage area. A Lily doll was hung up by her, and the Bray Wyatt symbol flashed on a monitor behind her. Capture said Bliss hasn't had singles success in over 4 years and questioned what viewers would see from her. Now, you want to talk about staying tuned to watch a wrestler who hasn't been successful in over 4 years. That's quite the hook from Patrick. That's quite the hook from a person who's terrible on fucking commentary, known as Patrick. Mr. Kevin Patrick. The OC continues to feel like a flat act despite having a quality match. Pretty sure Styles is happy to have his buddies back. Now, this is just me when I say this. I do much rather see Styles getting meaningful singles push. They continue to work time, feeling, and tag matches. The Washington, D.C. sports inventory was shown last night. Candice LeRae was interviewed by Saxton in the back area. Saxton said LeRae will face Io Sky on next week's Raw and asked if she feels like a market woman by Damage Control. LeRae said she does and had to return from an injury they were responsible for. LeRae said she's a new mom and has more to fight for. This to me means that Io Sky is losing to Candice LeRae. So pretty much next week, Rollins is walking in and walking out as the number one contender for Austin Theory's United States Championship. Alexa Bliss is walking in and walking out as the number one contender for Bianca Belair's Raw Women's Championship. And Candice LeRae is going to be Io Sky. And that's probably going to set up the Nikki Cross and Candice LeRae feud, I'm assuming. That's my prediction for next week. For who's winning those matches. Now, we got Dominic Mysterio with Rhea Ripley, Finn Balor, Damien Priest versus Akira Tozawa. Tozawa's ill-advised. It should have been. I don't know why it wasn't. He has an entrance. Let him come out with his entrance. Jesus Christ, man. That's what I'm talking about. This is what I mean about elevation. Elevation won't let these enhancement talent come out with their entrances, man. I don't get why. Tozawa performed an early head scissors takedown and yelled to get a rise out of the flat crowd. Dom came back and hit the Three Amigos suplex for a 1 count. Tozawa rallied with a Shining Wizard for a near fall. Tozawa put Dominic down with another kick, then went to the ropes. Tozawa went for a senton, but Dom rolled out of the way. Dom performed a top rope frog splash and got the 3 count. So Judgment Day was about to rough up Tozawa. Judgment Day, which continues to be another one of the best things on Monday Night Raw. Street Profits, Montez Ford, Angelo Dawkins ran out to scare off the heels. Becky Lynch was shown getting ready for the triple threat match. Makes me wonder what they're doing with the Street Profits, man. Makes me wonder. Now, I'm guessing that concluded the match that spawned from JBL's terrible poker tournament that nobody invested their time in watching, I'm sure. We'll never know how they were going to fill the 3 hours had it not been for the poker game. Broadcast team recap footage of Bobby Lashley spearing Pete Williams. Also, backstage, Adam Pearce caught up with Bobby Lashley and said he knew Lashley didn't spear Williams on purpose. I guess that's why the broadcast team recapped the footage of Bobby Lashley spearing Pete Williams. But he wasn't talking. He wasn't taking away his title shot, really. But if it happens again, Pearce said and asked him not to make another mistake. Lashley told him to make sure nobody else gets in his way. Now, the end game is Braun Breaker showing up to avenge the spear taken by the guy who likes to dress up like his uncle while calling himself Little Petty Punk. Probably not. It makes me wonder how you guys felt about that. Now, the broadcast team hyped the following matches for next week's Raw. I'm not going to go over it. I'm going to go over it when I give you guys your AEW Tuesday afternoon news. Alexa Bliss made her entrance for the main event, followed by Nikki Cross. Graves played up to the past friendship between Bliss and Cross. Becky Lynch made her entrance. We got the main event of Monday Night Raw last night. Becky Lynch versus Alexa Bliss. Alexa! And Nikki Cross. She's not Nikki Trash anymore. Get that out of your heads, thinking that she's Nikki Trash. No, she's not Nikki Trash anymore. Okay? Enough with the Nikki Trash rants. Enough with the Nikki Trash reactions, man. Enough saying that. There was an early and brief Becky chant from the crowd. Lynch teased hitting Sister Abigail. Or should I say Bliss teased hitting Sister Abigail. Actually, not Lynch, but Bliss. You guys know what I mean, though. Lynch countered out of it. So once Bliss teased hitting Sister Abigail, Lynch countered out of it. Cross ended up performing running splashes in opposite corners on both opponents until Bliss dodged her. Lynch ran over, jumped off the back of a collapsing Bliss to hit what Graves called a glancing blow on Cross in the corner. Now, all three women ended up at ringside. Cross slammed Lynch's head into the ring steps. Bliss went for a tornado DDT up the steps. Cross snuffed it. She stuffed it and put Bliss down with a neck breaker. She didn't sniff it. She stuffed it. Cross cleared the broadcast table and then poured water over her own head. There goes my notes, Kevin Patrick says. God, he is so awful on commentary. Get him off of there, man. Bliss had crossed down and was setting up for Twisted Bliss when Lynch got involved. Bliss fought off Lynch, but Cross recovered and joined Bliss on the ropes. Lynch returned and performed a Tower of Doom spot and then covered Cross for the 2 count. A short time later, Cross performed a crossbody block from the ropes onto Lynch and had her pinned. Bliss broke it up. Cross hit Bliss with repeated shoulder blocks in the corner and then bulldogged her. So then Bliss shoved Cross to ringside and went for a kick under the ropes, but Cross pulled her to the floor and ended up splashing her against the apron, pretty much. Cross went for a Drake T on Bliss, and then Lynch performed a double leg drop from the ropes onto Bliss, who, while Cross executed the move. Lynch covered Bliss for a near fall. Lynch and Cross fought on the apron. Cross went for a move. Lynch stuffed it and put Cross down with a clunky manhandle slam on the apron. Lynch crawled to cover Cross, who rolled away. Io Sky the Guy ran out, pulled Lynch out of the ring. Lynch tried to fight them off, but the heel duo performed a double powerbomb through the broadcast table. And then Bliss hit Twisted Bliss on Cross and then pinned her. Broadcast team hyped Alexa Bliss versus Bayley to become the #1 contender to the Raw Women's Championship for next week's show. The main event was rough in spots. It was. And the crowd was pretty quiet. Cross really needed some wins when she made her recent character shift. There's just no reason to see her as a threat to win key matches like this. And that's unfortunate. On the bright side, I'm pretty sure some of you were legitimately surprised by the outcome of the match. They seem to be foreshadowing Lynch versus Bayley. So Bliss's win caught people off guard. Hopefully, we'll be getting a payoff to Bliss. And I guess we're getting the payoff to Bliss in the Wyatt symbol flashing soon. But I don't think it's going to happen, man. I think it's just a thing. It makes sense to have Bliss start her feud with Bianca Belair after she wins over Bayley, which she's already the winner. I mean, clearly Bliss winning this match to be in next week's #1 Contenders women's match is basically signifying a feud with Bianca Belair. So when she wins, this is what's going to happen, guys. When Alexa Bliss wins over Bayley next week, Bianca Belair is going to come out and hold the title up to her face, and that's going to set up the Bliss and Belair feud. That's what's going to happen next week. Bray Wyatt's not coming out. Bray Wyatt is on SmackDown. Maybe Bliss is getting a character change at the start of this feud. I don't know. She's doing great. We need to see the goddess Alexa Bliss, man. Really, I'm telling you. We haven't seen the goddess Alexa Bliss in a while. The goddess Alexa Bliss gimmick is what we need to see going into her feud with Bianca Belair. Now, a decent show aside from that terrible, boring poker game skeets that were predictable and uneventful. Having the two triple threat qualifiers help give two matches a sense of importance. Now, all three of these women have their own unique styles. Bliss, Cross, and Lynch. They are all versatile, too. Now, that also allowed them to put on a fun encounter that was as good as the other triple threat we saw earlier in the night. The first bout just had a slightly more aggressive pace to it. A slightly more aggressive pace to it, man. But it was also good to see the company get back to announcing multiple matches for next week's show. That too. But overall, this was one of the best Monday Night Raws that we've gotten all week. And that's all I got to say to that, guys. That's going to do it for your Monday Night Raw, December the 6th, 2022 review. If you guys enjoyed it, please let me know. Hit the thumbs up on the stream. Let's get a lot of likes minimum on the stream. No excuses. No complaints. All right. I'm going to take a huge break. Take a 3-minute break back, guys. When I come back, I'm going to be going over your Monday, or I'm going to be going over your WWE and AEW Tuesday afternoon news. After that, we got some major news on the Raw, news on Bianca Belair. I got your news on Sami Zayn, Grayson Waller, William Regal, you name it. I even have your news on Claudio Castagnoli. We got a lot of Claudio Castagnoli news to go over. And Konosuke, news on Konosuke and Thunder Rosa, and plenty more. I'll be right back, guys. When I come back, I'm going to go over your WWE AEW Tuesday afternoon news. Don't go anywhere. I'll be back in 4 minutes. I'll be back in 4 minutes. Don't go anywhere. Sorry, I don't know what that was that pulled up. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm back from my 3-4 minute break. It's time for me to go over your WWE and AEW Tuesday afternoon news. We're going to go ahead and start with your AEW or with your WWE Tuesday afternoon news on Triple H and the 24/7 title. I don't know why this is in the news. Nobody gives a shit about the 24/7 championship. It's all for TV, so why are we still bringing this news up about it? Why is this being brought up? Why? I don't understand. The 24/7 championship was never a freaking thing to me in WWE to begin with. It's not a real title. It's not relevant. It was just a title that was being wasted on TV for absolutely no reason. Triple H's WWE regime never brought up 24/7 title. The 24/7 Championship was introduced a couple of years ago. The rules for the title resembled that the Hardcore Championship from the Attitude Era. Whoever held the title had to defend it 24/7. The championship was first held by Titus O'Neil, who held the belt for less than a day before dropping it to Robert Roode. Then, the 24/7 Championship gave way to some memorable moments over the years. More like some terrible moments over the years. R-Truth held the record for most title wins with 54. However, rumors started doing the rounds when Nikki Cross dumped the title in the trash after defeating Dana Brooke. Good. I'm glad she did that. Nobody needs that shit. The 24/7 Championship is non-existent. Same with the Cruiserweight Championship. Same with the WWE and NXT Women's Tag Team Championships. While the 24/7 title was absent from WWE television, the title was almost never mentioned in a creative sense. Cruiserweight division, non-existent. Anyways, allowed for some funny moments at live events and live shows. It was also noted that the future of the title seems to be up in the air. It says here in that quote, the 24/7 title hadn't been featured for quite some time before WWE effectively retired it, since Triple H's regime took control of WWE, Triple H's administration. The 24/7 Championship wasn't just put on the back burner. It was taken off the stove altogether, says Fightful Select. And then Fightful Select goes on to continue to say that, the title hadn't changed hands on television at all for the first 3 months of the new regime, but it hadn't still been used. The title had still been used on numerous house shows, despite not being on television at all. There have been several title changes, with one spot leading to a referee winning the title before it is eventually won back by Dana Brooke. A WWE source said that the title was almost never mentioned in a creative sense, but allowed for some funny, or should I say fun moments for live event shows. The future of the title seemed to be up in the air, and it wasn't something that we heard Triple H ever talk about. Dana Brooke had been competing on the WWE main roster fairly regularly and wearing the championship to the ring while being announced as the champion. However, she wasn't booked in title defenses on the show, and they weren't being the traditional 24/7 chase eliminations, or should I say elements, before losing the title to Nick Cross, in quote. I don't know why I said element when I should have said, I don't know why I said eliminations when I should have said elements. While the 24/7 title contributed towards some funny moments on WWE television, many fans probably won't miss the title if it's retired. We have to wait and see if Triple H decides to bring back the title. I hope he doesn't bring back the title. It's not important. That title should have even, that dimension of the 24/7 idea should have never been brought up in the first place. That idea was brought up by Vince McMahon and Bruce Prichard. So I got some news on why. So WWE Tuesday afternoon news on why Brock Lesnar versus AJ Styles didn't main event Survivor Series back in 2007. AJ Styles is regarded as one of the all-time greats in the pro wrestling world for a good reason. He had incredible matches with almost everyone in WWE. And that includes Brock Lesnar. They had clashed in the past, and there was a good reason why they didn't main event Survivor Series back in 2017. Brock Lesnar squared off against AJ Styles in Survivor Series 2017 in a champion versus champion match. The match turned out to be an absolute banger, with Lesnar coming out on top in the end. While speaking on his "Oh, You Didn't Know" podcast, Road Dogg revealed that the match didn't main event the show because higher-ups were not suppose, or should I say, we're not sure what AJ Styles and Brock Lesnar were going to do in the match. It says here, and I quote, "We didn't know what to close with at Survivor Series 2017. AJ Styles and Brock Lesnar, or on this man's traditional 5-on-5 match. And so we choose AJ and Brock to not close. We're going to close with the other one because we didn't know what AJ and Brock was going to do. I didn't know it was going to be good. This has happened more than once." And then they go on to say, it goes on to say, although it does, he goes on to say that in retrospect, you go, man, I'm sure we had closed with that one. You know what I mean? He questioned that, and then he goes on to say everybody would have gone home happy, and still again, they still went home happy. I think anyway. End quote. Have to wait and see whether Brock Lesnar and AJ Styles will ever face each other again in the future. Fans would love to see the two duke it out again. Did you guys like the match? Let me know. Now, there's some news on Shelton Benjamin and WWE. So WWE apparently alleged that they didn't push Shelton Benjamin to world champion over lack of personality. Shelton Benjamin is a true veteran in the world of professional wrestling. He had a couple of stunts in WWE where he saw success as a singles and tag team star. His athletic ability could never be denied, but it seems it wasn't really enough for WWE when it comes to becoming a world champion. Benjamin has achieved success in the WWE by winning the Intercontinental Championship, the Tag Team Championship, the United States Championship. However, a world title has always eluded him. While speaking on the latest episode of The Extreme Life of Matt Hardy, Matt Hardy was asked why Benjamin didn't receive a much better push. Hardy believed it was due to him not having a larger-than-life personality. This is what Matt Hardy said. He said, and I quote, "I believe if you had a young Shelton Benjamin come along today, it would change a lot back then. They were looking for larger-than-life personalities, people that really bonded with the crowd. And I feel like they didn't see this or see that as a much in Shelton as they would have liked to." And then he goes on to say they knew from an athletic perspective, he was just unbelievable. He was unreal. So I think if Shelton come along today, I think it would be changed. It would be changed. And he would finally be programmed a lot higher than he was back then. End quote. Shelton Benjamin isn't a regular feature on WWE programming, but his veteran knowledge is always invaluable to those who need it. Benjamin is happy in WWE, and that's all that matters. Are you guys a huge fan of Shelton Benjamin? Do you like Shelton Benjamin? Let me know in the live chat. There's some major news on WWE and The Rock. So apparently, they're both still discussing a Royal Rumble appearance. The Royal Rumble will be here before you know it, before we all know it, despite the fact that it won't go down until January 2023. Again, it won't go down until January 28th, 2023. The Rock's name is still churning in the rumor mill, but nothing is confirmed yet for the big San Antonio event. Ooh, gotta get my head together, man. Brain's feeling nauseating. Ringside News, my only sources in the IWC community, exclusively reported that WWE has not booked The Rock for the Royal Rumble event, despite the fact plenty of rumors have come out about the Great One's status for the Royal Rumble event. They reached out to confirm The Rock's status and see what's going on. A tenured member of the team told them that there is no status update on The Rock at this time. Discussions are still going on, but nothing is settled. The current creative direction of Roman Reigns appears to paint the picture for Kevin Owens challenging the head of the table for his titles in Texas this January. I knew! I was right again! Remember earlier I said one of the matches that we are getting. I said it earlier in the Monday Night Raw review. One of the matches that we're getting for the 2023 Royal Rumble is Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns for the WWE Universal Championship. That is the match we are getting. I said it earlier on the Monday Night Raw review. Now, with the current storyline Owens has with Zayn in the bloodline, a Roman Reigns encounter should be full of drama. It's going to be Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens for Elimination Chamber 2023. And before that, it's going to be Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens for the Universal Championship at the 2023 Royal Rumble, which will be January 28th, 2023. Now, The Rock is still a virtual lock for WrestleMania 39, but they still haven't even come to terms on the overall deal for Dwayne Johnson's return. I could see him returning for WrestleMania 39. We're getting Roman Reigns versus The Rock for WrestleMania 39, the match that we all want to see. The match the entire IWC community on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter wants to see, man. And on YouTube. I guess we'll have to see when that happens. The show of shows is still very much in the cards for the star, for the Jumanji star. What's y'all's take on this situation with The Rock? Let me know in the live chats. There's some more news on The Rock. WWE is apparently working with multiple ideas for The Rock's return. The Rock and Roman Reigns seem destined to face each other at WrestleMania 39, but the Great One hasn't even returned to WWE just yet. Ringside News exclusively reported that the two sides are discussing at one appearance. I just went over that not too long ago. But they have a lot of options. So the Ringside News reached out to confirm The Rock's current Royal Rumble status. WWE and Dwayne Johnson's camp are still battling around the possibilities. The Royal Rumble will be a big event in San Antonio on January 28th. But that isn't the time The Rock could return. So they were told by a tenured member of the team that there are ideas for Rock in Rumble, ideas for Rock not in Rumble, ideas for Rock to show up elsewhere besides the Rumble. Show up for WrestleMania 39, of course. And I have proof that The Rock will show up at WrestleMania 39. And I'm going to show it here in a little bit because there are even more news on The Rock that I'm going to go over with you guys. Right now, nothing is inched in stone until a deal is reached, says the tenured member of the team. That's what they say. But we know the truth. The truth is Rock versus Reigns is being booked for WrestleMania 39. And we know Rock is going to be there. We know The Rock is not going to be at the Royal Rumble. It makes no sense for The Rock to appear at the Royal Rumble. Well, why does The Rock need to be at the Royal Rumble? There's nothing for him. There's absolutely nothing there for him at all. Nothing. There are a lot of stories going around about WWE's plans. But at this time, any confirmation of The Rock's Royal Rumble appearance is fake news. that is not to say that The Rock's Royal Rumble appearance is impossible. It's not happening. It's not happening. Okay? The Rock is appearing at WrestleMania 39. I have proof of that, which I will show you guys in a few minutes. Like I said, when we go over the other news on The Rock, it will be interesting to see how this situation plays out on WWE television. The Rock has an incredibly busy schedule. So any appearance for Vince McMahon's former company will take a lot of coordinating. It will take a lot of coordinating with this outrageously full plate. What's y'all's take on this situation? So apparently there's news on Ricochet. He hints at going after Roman Reigns' WWE Undisputed Universal title. Ricochet is viewed as one of the best in-ring competitors in WWE. The super athletic star has gained fanfare thanks to his dedication to his craft. Among other things, Ricochet has never been a world champion in WWE. And now it seems he wants to go after Roman Reigns' title. The 34-year-old WWE star has entertained fans over the years with his athleticism in numerous promotions all over the world. In the past few months, Ricochet has clearly grown a lot as a performer as well. WWE's official Twitter handle recently asked fans to name the greatest WWE champion of all time. Ricochet replied to the tweet by naming The Rock. This led to a fan uploading an edit photo that showed Ricochet with the WWE title. Ricochet also replied to that image, hinting at going after Roman Reigns for his title. It says here, and I quote, "Does look good on me," end quote. Ricochet recently won the SmackDown World Cup and will be challenging Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship soon. Very, very soon. We have to wait to see if Ricochet will eventually go after The Rock or not. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. Ricochet and The Rock? Who's to say that would be a good match? I can't say that match is not going to be good. The Rock and Ricochet have two different styles, so. But, for real, to be on the real side note, we will really have to see if Ricochet will eventually go after Roman Reigns or not. Do you guys want to see Ricochet become the WWE champion? Sound off in the comments. My head feel kind of dizzy after eating those 2 pieces of bacon. I probably should have never ate them. So, I got some WWE Tuesday afternoon news on Sami Zayn. He explains how he used real-life friendship with the Usos in Bloodline storyline. Now, Sami Zayn undoubtedly has the golden touch regarding any gimmick given to him in WWE. I said it on my Monday Night Raw review. I'm going to say it again. Sami Zayn has one of the best gimmicks in all of WWE right now. Zayn has continuously evolved over the years, and that's also been apparent in his storyline with the Bloodline. In fact, his friendship with the Usos influenced his current storyline as well. Sami Zayn's storyline with the Bloodline began several minutes ago, and it became one of the most intricate storylines in years. Sami Zayn has become close with the faction, especially after Survivor Series. While speaking on Peter Rosenberg's Cheap Heat podcast, the Bloodline member explained how his friendship with the Usos influenced the storyline, and included his handshake with the Usos as well. Here I quote, "These dynamics that we sort of splintered off to with Jimmy and Jay, there's a certain element. Not to say Jay is like the angry one or anything." And then Zayn goes on to say, that it's a story we've told for 6 months. But Jimmy really is a laid-back dude. The relationship that we had on screen is very, very similar to the relationship we had backstage. Now, so there was a funny thing that I just saw where it was a video from, I think, 2019 or 2020 of us doing the handshake, because that's our real life handshake. Then I saw these people like, oh, this isn't just something they did for the story. This isn't just something they're doing for TV. This is their actual greeting that they do in the locker room. The Usos have cool handshakes with a lot of people. They're cool. They're the coolest, most universally adored people, and everyone has a rapport with them. Our handshake so evolved. It started out as one thing, and then it turned into something else. But all this to say, that handshake has been our thing for, many, many years, and then it just found its way onto TV. Ric Flair isn't a big fan of Sami Zayn's current character. That's an awful thing for Ric Flair to say. It remains to be seen how WWE will be booking Sami Zayn as part of the bloodline in the coming months. For the time being, fans will love anything that has to do with Sami Zayn. Do you guys love Sami Zayn? Are you a huge fan of what he's doing in the bloodline? I know I am. It continues to be one of the best storylines on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. Just like Judgment Day continues to be one of the best things on Monday Night Raw. Two of the best things on that show, easily. Now, there's some news on Barry Windham. To those of you from back in the day, from back in the Attitude Era that knows Barry Windham, he's in a ICU after suffering a heart attack. Barry Windham is widely considered to be one of the best in-ring performers to ever lace up a pair of boots. Windham put on great matches during his separate stunts with WWE and WCW. Unfortunately, the Hall of Famer is currently fighting for his life. The 62-year-old suffered a heart attack this past Friday while traveling through the Atlanta airport. This news was shared by Windham's niece, Mika Rotunda, the sister of Bray Wyatt in Bo Dallas. Mika has since set up a fundraiser to help Windham's family pay for medical expenses. It says here, and I quote, "With deep sadness, I regret to inform my uncle, Hall of Famer Barry Windham, suffered a massive heart attack Friday evening while traveling through the Atlanta airport." This was last week. This was last Friday, folks. Last Friday night. This, she goes on to say, his darkest fear became a horrific reality as he went into cardiac arrest. He is currently in the ICU and has undergone an emergency procedure to save his life. As a family, we are all impatiently waiting to hear that he will be okay. But as of now, the future is uncertain. End quote. This is the second time Barry Windham has suffered a heart attack. Former NWA World Heavyweight Champion went into cardiac arrest in 2011. And doctors had to perform an emergency procedure on him at the time. Now, Windham's family is planning to raise $200,000 to cover up the medical expenses. Now, this is to everyone that's subscribed to my channel and all of my IWN community fans. If you or anyone you know is willing to help the family in this hardship, the link for the GoFundMe for Barry Windham is on the article on ringsidenews.com, where it says the news on Barry Windham in ICU after suffering a heart attack. So if you want to go to the ringsidenews.com, you want to go to the news on this news article on Barry Windham, you will see a shaded red word where it says GoFundMe. You click that, and it should take you to the website. Now, it says, we at Ringside News, of course, my only sources I have, they sent their wishes to the Wyndham family. My thoughts and prayers go out to the Wyndham family, too, during these difficult times. Tell you, everybody's dying everywhere you go, man. You hear news on people dying every day. It's a sad situation. It really is. It's unfortunate. Yeah, he's in the hospital dealing with a heart attack, man. You never want your family member in the hospital, especially if it's your mom or dad dealing with a heart attack. No way. No way I would want to see my mother in the hospital dealing with a heart attack. No. Not even my grandmother. That would upset me to the bone. It probably had me in tears. More than likely. What is y'all's take on this story? Let me know. There's some news on Bianca Belair. And I got to say congratulations to Bianca Belair for winning her first place at WBFF competition. The EST of WWE, Bianca Belair became one of the fastest rising stars. In the WWE, Bianca Belair's amazing in-ring skill and captivating personality has not only brought her success inside the ring, but outside as well. Bianca Belair was recently a part of a big fitness and fashion event where she excelled yet again in her performance. Bianca Belair joined the elite club of WWE superstars to achieve massive success in their rookie year. Now, in her short stint of nearly 2 years, Belair has won several championships and grabbed the pinnacle of sports event by becoming the first black woman alongside Sasha Banks to main event WrestleMania. The current Raw Women's Champion's reign has been nothing but impressive so far. Bianca Belair recently competed in a fashion and fitness event organized by WBFF Entertainment. The EST of WWE put all her efforts and hard work into this new venture and was placed at first position in the wellness category, and second place in the fitness category. Bianca Belair made the announcement on Instagram about her performance, weeks of preparation, and thanking her husband, Montez Ford, and the WWE locker room for their support. It says here, and I quote from Bianca Belair. This is what it says. I am officially a part of the WBFF Pro Card family. First place in wellness, second place in fitness. I got my Pro Card. Dress made by me. Every outfit I wore on stage I made. Thank you to my amazing coach. NA Fitness. I really couldn't have done it without you with prepping in 10 weeks. In balancing both this and wrestling, you are the best. And thank you to Michelle Desormiax or Desormuriax or whatever for helping me last minute with posing. And then she goes on to say I was outside of my element, and she really came through and taught so much in a short amount of time. And thank you to my husband, Montez Ford, says Bianca Belair. He supported me every single day through the long, late, early gym sessions, cardio sessions, hangry moments, and he even went on a diet with me. We are defiantly training for the next one together. Thank you to my WWE locker room. Man, you all ladies really supported me. I love y'all. Hey, I'm so happy. I'm so happy, end quote. That was what all Bianca Belair said. Bianca Belair has been the Raw Women's Champion for nearly 250 days. She won the title back at WrestleMania 38, defeating Becky Lynch. Belair's assembled squad of superstars were also victorious in the War Games match this past week at WWE Survivor Series, War Games. I'm gonna show you guys an image of Bianca Belair. Man, she looks good, bro. She looks really, really good, man. She really does. Fine as hell, too. Montez Ford is even lucky to have a wife like that. Who's to say any guy would date her? Who's to say that any guy would just grab her and ask her out and talk to her? All right, guys, here's the image of Bianca Belair. There she is, man, in her red bikini outfit. That's her. This is what she wore when she won that first place at WBFF competition. Do you guys think Bianca Belair will become a record-breaking women's champion? Sound off in the comments or in the live chats, please. Now, let me see. All right, guys. Next, we have some news on Sami Zayn. We got more news on him. Sami Zayn wishes WWE Survivor Series Bloodline angle would have gone down on SmackDown. Now, Sami Zayn has turned everything he has been given into gold for well over 8 years now. Zayn's incredible ability to make everything work has won him over with WWE higher-ups as well as fans. Be that as it may, Zayn also wished a particular segment with the Bloodline took place on SmackDown. At WWE Survivor Series, Sami Zayn proved his allegiance to the Bloodline during the War Games match as he helped the Bloodline defeat the Brawling Brutes, Drew McIntyre, Kevin Owens. I'm telling you guys this in case you didn't know. That climatic moment includes some build during the show. Prior to the match, WWE was airing segments featuring Sami Zayn and the Bloodline where Roman Reigns had a conversation while speaking on Peter Rosenberg's Cheap Heat podcast. Sami Zayn talked about his segment with Roman Reigns at Survivor Series. Zayn wished that the segment took place on WWE SmackDown. Says, and I quote for an example, the one we had at Survivor Series, which I kind of wish that backstage that we had done was on television because I think it would have gotten people would have been able to sit in it a little longer. And then he goes on to say, it would have gotten people would have been able to sit in it a little longer, whereas part of the thread at Survivor Series, it was a great piece of the totality of the night, but it got us to where we needed to go. And then he goes on to say, if it was on TV, it could sit and breathe for a week. People could talk and dissect it. Then he goes on to say, I was really pleased with that backstage interview where he would look at me in the eyes to figure out if he could trust me. If you watch that back, as I did, he sat in silence in a way that is very difficult to do, especially in a pro wrestling backstage. You don't get of silence backstage, but he did it, and it played very well. Each sound made it more agonizing and more intense. Obviously, it's not something you talk about like, okay, sit there for 45 seconds. His voice, ability and confidence. To hold that moment was very impressive to me. End quote. That's what Sami Zayn said. So Sami Zayn made good use of his friendship with the Usos for the bloodline storyline. It remains to be seen how WWE will keep on progressing Sami Zayn's storyline. It has become very gripping now. Yep. It's become very gripping now, man. I got some news. I got some hilarious news to tell you guys, man. It involves the face-to-face between Seth Rollins and Austin Theory. So, check this out. Apparently, WWE makes Jimmy Kimmel's this week in unnecessary censorship. I got to show y'all that hilarious video that I said yesterday that I was going to show y'all. WWE is a global juggernaut when it comes to professional wrestling. But that isn't all the company is known for now. From games to movies and reality TV shows, among other things. WWE's stock only continues to rise even now, so it comes as to no surprise that WWE managed to make Jimmy Kimmel's this week in unnecessary partnership recently. As the name entails, the popular segment on Jimmy Kimmel's show features series videos having absolutely unnecessary partnership that makes them comedic in nature instead. Towards the 55-second mark of the video below that I'm going to be showing you guys here in a minute, Seth Rollins' series promo to Austin Theory on Raw made its way onto the list. Rollins was considered at the most hilarious moment during the promo segment. It says here, and I quote, you wanna F-U-C-K me. Well, we ain't gotta wait. We can do it right here, right now. End quote. We will have to wait and see how WWE will be booking Seth Rollins' feud with Austin Theory as they will battle it for Theory's United States Championship in the coming weeks. Regardless, fans are sure to get a good laugh out of the video. So, the way they say coming weeks, it seems like we're not getting the match for Elimination Chamber. It sounds to me like we're getting it for the Royal Rumble, but it wouldn't make sense to book it for the Royal Rumble because then Austin Theory would be in two matches. So I think it makes more sense for them to book it for Elimination Chamber if they're going to be continuing this feud. I mean, really. That's just my opinion. That's just me. All right, I'm going to show you guys this video, man. Get prepared to start laughing because it's going to make you laugh right now. It's going to make you guys freaking laugh. Even though I'm not in the mood to laugh, I'm not feeling it. My head is not feeling right, feeling a little drowsy, a little dizzy a little bit. I hate when I feel like that, especially when I've only eaten breakfast and stuff. I was feeling like that yesterday. Now all of a sudden today I'm feeling different. Yesterday I was feeling good. I was able to get my job out early. You know, just feeling different today. You know, you have those days where you feel different, days where you're in a good mood, and there's days where you're not in a good mood, where you just feel drowsy, you just feel dizzy. I don't want to be feeling like Road to Drowsy, but you know. All right, here we go, guys. Here we go, guys. Get prepared. It's about to make you laugh, man.
Happy Monday to you. You're up nice and early. Maybe work, or maybe you have errands, or maybe you got to work off some.
Maybe.
Thanksgiving.
I think we all have to do that.
Okay. I sent you the video.
of me f***ing the turkey that you're not allowed to air. Former President Trump confirming on his social media platform that he ate dick last week.
Do you want
Oh,
to be president of the
man.
United States?
Well, Martha, I would say no more and no less than any other kid that grew up with a is.
At 954-493-TIX.
Nancy, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you.
That's why I encourage people to get behind me because I'm going to Georgia and I'm going to America.
Guess what I'm doing? Getting I'm off your foot?
There it is.
Right. We can do it right here, right now.
I'm Lester Holt. Please
yourself and each other. Good night.
Oh, snap, man. That was funny. Well, there you have it, folks. There you have it. What did you guys think of that? Let me know on the live chats, man. Oh, my God, man. Oh, man. Now, that's something you would watch any day of the week, right? That's Kevin Dunn right there. Anyways. Anyways, guys, moving on, man. That was the funniest video I've seen so far this week. Oh my goodness. Moving on to the next, guys. So apparently the so-called Grayson Waller effect and much more has been booked for NXT tonight. Give me a second. I gotta pull up the I gotta pull it up first. Guys, give me a few seconds to pull it up because it's taking a while for it to pull up. It really is. It's getting on my nerves. There it is. Okay, so the Grayson Waller effect segment was added to this week's episode of NXT. WWE NXT is rapidly moving towards its newest and highly innovative pay-per-view NXT deadline. The show is only 1 week away with a stacked match card set. A new segment has been added for this week's edition of NXT, featuring the rising star Grayson Waller. Grayson Waller, Carmelo Hayes, Joe Gacy, and JD McDonough have already been named to participate in the Iron Survivor Challenge. In order to choose the last participant, a bout between Von Wagner, Exam, and Andre Chase is also slated for this week's edition of NXT. This will be the go-home edition before Saturday's NXT Deadline pay-per-view. This segment was announced by Grayson Waller on Twitter and will feature himself and the other 4 superstars taking part in the men's Iron Savage, or should I say Iron Survivor Challenge match. Iron Survivor Challenge match. Discuss about the first ever and newest match to happen in the WWE. Says here, and I quote, huge Grayson Waller effect announcement. So here's the final updated card for the go-home edition of NXT Deadline. Grayson Waller effect, Grayson Waller, Joe Gacy, JD McDonough, and Purple Hayes. JD will be back in action. the Iron Survivor Challenge wild card match. Von Wagner versus Sam versus Andre Chase. The Iron Savage wild card match. Wendy Chu versus Fallon Henley and Indy Hartwell. Pretty Deadly presents a real Christmas story. Are you guys excited for this weekend's NXT deadline? I'm not all that excited for it. I kind of am, kind of not. But anyways, Jesus Christ, I just seen a news article on Sergeant Slaughter being down to take role as Lacey Evans. Oh, hell no. Sergeant Slaughter and Lacey Evans together on television? No, I'll pass. They better not put that garbage on television, man. They better not. I dare them to. So there's some news. There's some more news on The Rock again. Young Rock drops tease for The Rock winning another title in WWE. Seemingly hints at Roman Reigns defending his Universal Championship against The Rock, which I don't think is happening. I think Roman Reigns versus The Rock without the title should be the best solution. It needs to be the best idea at this point. I think that would be the best idea going forward. You don't need the title in a Rock versus Reigns match for WrestleMania 39. I just don't think they need the title. I think it should be a Roman Reigns versus Rock one-on-one match. Clearly, Roman Reigns is not going anywhere. He's not going to Hollywood. He's going to sign a full-time contract with WWE, in my honest opinion. He's keeping the fans waiting, man. Roman Reigns doesn't want the fans to know that he signed a full contract yet. That's why he's part-time. That's probably why he's part-time, and that's probably explains it. I would be shocked if Roman Reigns quits WWE and leaves. I would be. WWE surely wants The Rock and Roman Reigns to have a match at WrestleMania. However, as my source of Ringside News exclusively reported, WWE is in talks with The Rock now. Young Rock has given us a hint about the matchup in one of its episodes. A new clue with The Rock's WWE future was found in the December 2nd episode of Dwayne Johnson's biography show, Young Rock, on NBC. The Rock can be seen passing by a trophy case with awards from his wrestling career in one of those future sequences. Them included a WWE Universal Championship, which he has never won. Roman Reigns is in the undisputed WWE Universal Champion after unifying the WWE and Universal titles at WrestleMania 38. The scene showed the Big Eagle WWF Championship and the WWE Undisputed Champion. However, the WWF Championship and the WWE Undisputed Championship. However, the WWE Universal title's presence in the series sparks questions and speculations. Future events shown in Young Rock's scenarios are by no means a guarantee of what will actually take place. However, the mention of the WWE Universal title is a possible indication that Rock will challenge Reigns for the blue strap. Beyond that, the show has already hinted at a match between The Rock and Reigns. Now, in an earlier episode, a young Reigns tries to wrestle Rock at a gathering of the Inoue family. Come on, Dobie, let's wrestle. Reigns told his older cousin, "No, the world is not ready." Rock responds, "A match that big can happen only at WrestleMania." As Ringside News exclusively reported, The Rock is a virtual lock for the 39th annual show of shows. Only time will tell how WWE makes that happen. What are y'all's thoughts on this story? There's some more news on The Rock, guys. And here is the final proof. Here's the proof. There's proof that The Rock will be at WrestleMania 39. The Rock's wife song and national anthem at WrestleMania 39 venue. The Rock is arguably one of the greatest attractions in the pro wrestling world under the bright lights of Hollywood. The Great One is known to conquer every world he steps into. The Rock was present at the site of WrestleMania 39 recently with his family to watch a distant honor presented to his wife. The first third-generation superstar became a cornerstone for the company during the Attitude Era alongside Stone Cold Steve Austin. He went to Hollywood to pursue an acting career and would return to WWE in 2011 to wrestle matches with the likes of John Cena, CM Punk, and numerous appearances between 2011 and 2019. The People's Champion currently reigns as the highest paid actor in Hollywood. However, outside the spotlight, The Rock is a family man and loves to spend time with his loved ones. The Rock was recently spotted with his family at SoFi Stadium. Should I say Sophie Stadium? He posted on Instagram where he was holding his daughters in his arms as they watched Lauren sing the national anthem at 70,000 plus audience to a 70,000 point audience. Man, watching Lauren sing the national anthem to a 70,000 plus audience is almost like getting over to a 70,000 plus audience at a WrestleMania pay-per-view in a match that's the biggest match of your career. So this is what The Rock said, and I quote on Instagram: "Me holding my babies tight with their mama sings a powerful and inspiring national anthem to 70,000 strong in Sophie Stadium will go down as one of the greatest and most moving moments of my life. As a father, it rocked my soul to hold our daughter ones, or our little ones," he says, "in this milestone moment." And then he goes on to say, "As I could literally feel their proud energy and fabrication for their mommy singing, they felt it." And then he continues to say, "At these little ages, they don't understand how meaningful this moment is for our family and how incredibly important the words of this song are to our great country and every American in it. It's my job to explain it and teach them one day. And as their father, I can't wait." Man, you can feel the mana in the air as Lauren sings. Good thing I had my glasses on, because as Lauren rounded the corner gave proof, though, through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. It looked down and saw my girls with their little hands over their hearts. That was it for me. Daddy was done. Congratulations to my beautiful wife, Lauren, on this incredible career milestone in American honor. You are the real superstar of our family." End quote. Says The Rock. That's from The Rock. The Rock is rumored to be part of WrestleMania 39, scheduled to take place at the SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles on April 1st and 2nd. The Rama Bull is expected to face his cousin Roman Reigns in one of the biggest WrestleMania main event matches for the Universal Championship, for the Universal Championship. With that being said, it was all about his wife before the big game, which the Universal Championship should not be on the line. There should be no championship in this match. It should just be a one-on-one match, in my honest opinion. I'm going to show you guys this video from Instagram of The Rock holding two of his daughters and the 70,000 plus crowd and his wife singing that anthem. Give me a minute here as I pull it up. Well, guys, here, Greg, click the play button in 3, 2, 1, because I really don't have all day. There's all the proof you need to see and know that The Rock will be at WrestleMania 39 to challenge Roman Reigns in a one-on-one match. If it's for the WWE Universal Championship match, then so be it. Oh well. As long as it's the greatest, biggest match on the card, as long as it goes down as one of the greatest matches on the WrestleMania 39 card, I'm fine. I'm fine with that. You won't hear no complaints from me. Okay. I'm just going to put it like that. Do you guys think The Rock will return for the match at WrestleMania 39? Of course he will. I mean, I know his schedule is not all that easy. It's not all that, good. He has a busy schedule. He's an actor now. He's a full-time actor, man. I mean, you can't make an actor show up. I mean, The Rock, he's a grown-ass man. I mean, he has his own decisions to make. If he doesn't want to show it, doesn't want to show up. If he's going to show up, he's going to show up. He'll let you know when he shows up. He will let you know when he shows up, man. Now, moving on to the next WWE Tuesday afternoon news. This one is on William Regal. So apparently, get this, guys. Apparently, William Regal's WWE return has been spoken about for months in NXT. Yes, folks, I don't stutter. It's true. His return has been spoken about for months in NXT, man. And I got to find that news article. I got to find it. There it is. I don't know why I didn't shut the thing off. I don't know why I didn't get that off my screen. But anyways, we're back to the normal screen now. William Regal's WWE return has been spoken about for months in NXT, guys. So William Regal truly loves the professional wrestling world and gave 4 decades to the industry. Regal was let go by WWE earlier this year. He subsequently made his way to AEW, with Regal set to return to WWE soon. It seems his imminent comeback has been a major topic of discussion in NXT for months. Now, as previously reported, William Regal has officially left AEW. This was right after he was written off television last week. This was after off television last week's episode of Dynamite, where MJF officially attacked him while speaking on Wrestling Observer Live. Bryan Alvarez addressed the rumor that William Regal had an agreement with Tony Khan that if Paul Levesque took control of WWE, then he can go back to the company. He stated that the story has been going around for NXT for months. He says here, and I quote, "This is a story that goes back in NXT months and months ago. They believed the story whenever it first happened. Some don't believe it, but it's a story that's been going around for months." End quote. From Bryan Alvarez, that's that. And the Wrestling Observer Live. William Regal is expected to begin his WWE run next year for a backstage role. I wonder if he's going to be general manager or if he's going to be taking over Bruce's position. I suspect to believe he's going to be taking over Bruce's position. It's time for Bruce Prichard to get the fuck out of there. Get out. We don't need Bruce Prichard there anymore. Bruce Prichard is one of Vince McMahon's guys. He's one of Vince McMahon's guys from Vince's administration. We don't need a Vince McMahon administration member there working with Triple H's administration. No. I'd be so glad when Bruce finally just gets up and leaves there or gets fired. He needs to get like Johnny and All-Nights did. We'll have to wait and see what WWE will have planned for Lord Regal now that he will be working under Triple H again. Either he's going to be general manager or he's going to be the executive director for Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. Or maybe just for NXT. Who knows? But I think he's going to be taking over Bruce Prichard's role as executive director. That's what I think. Or he might even be just head of talent relations. Who knows? What's y'all's take on this story? Sound off in the comments or in the live chat. All right, guys. Moving on to the next news. This one is on the SmackDown viewership. The WWE SmackDown viewership falls under 1 million with FS1 move. I'm going to go over the SmackDown viewership again this Friday night. I'm just going to give you guys the viewership for last week. According to Spoiler TV, the December 2nd episode of WWE SmackDown brought in an overnight average of 902,000 viewers with a .25 and 1849 demographic. They were on FS1 this week due to other sports knocking them off Fox. The November the 25th Black Friday episode of WWE Friday Night SmackDown drew 2.064 million views with a .45 and 1849 demographic. They had severe issues with the broadcast getting up by college football and the FIFA World Cup. That's all I'm going to read. That's as far as I'm going to read. I'm going to give the rest of the viewership for all the other SmackDown episodes this Friday. Or actually, I'll give the rest of the viewership for all the episodes of SmackDown for tomorrow's WWE AEW Wednesday afternoon news, because I'm going to be live for NXT tomorrow. So, all right. So apparently, the top NWA star expected to sign with WWE after contract expires. It's not Nick Aldis. To those of you who think it is, it's not. WWE has a lot of people on their roster who could be big stars in the future. It seems that a second-generation star is on his way to Vince McMahon's former company as Triple H continues building things in his vision. Kobe Carino, I don't even know who that is, first signed with NWA in 2021 during his short stint with the company. His biggest achievement was winning the Championship Series tournament in 2021. Now it looks like he might soon become a free agent. Kobe Carino's NWA contract is set to expire by the end of this month, making him a free agent in January 2023. Sources informed BodySlam.net, never heard of those sources, they must be new, that there is a lot of interest in WWE. Moreover, the sources also stated that Carino will head to Orlando, Florida after he becomes a free agent, where he will spend time at the WWE Performance Center and will get a through look from the company. The sources also confirmed that if things go well, then we can expect him to sign with WWE and he will report to NXT. For those that don't know, including myself, Kobe Carino is the son of NWA World Heavyweight Champion Steve Carino, who currently works as a trainer and producer for NXT. If Kobe Carino does sign with WWE, it'll be interesting to see when he will appear on NXT television and how he. What's y'all's take on this story? Let me know. And there's some news on Triple H. More news on him. He checked in on Kevin Nash following his son's passing. Kevin Nash is widely regarded as one of the big men, one of the best big men in the world of professional wrestling. Nash is known to enjoy life and not take anything too seriously. However, recently his world was turned upside down when his son, Tristan, passed away. The news sent shockwaves among the wrestling community, with many of Kevin Nash's former colleagues sending him heartfelt messages. Tristan used to help Nash on his Click This podcast. On a recent episode of the Click This podcast, his co-host Sean Oliver, known as X-Pac in WWE, mentioned how wrestling colleagues wanted him to keep an eye on Kevin Nash. Nash mentioned that he already has friends looking out for him. Says here, and I quote, "Paul called me. Triple H called me, and his second sentence out of his mouth was, 'You're not going to do anything crazy, are you?' I think they knew how much that was my life. The last thing I'll do is leave my effing wife alone. This doesn't hurt," he said, referring to recording the podcast. "Having something to do on Wednesdays doesn't hurt, especially when I look across, and this is something we did." One of Tristan's goals was to help Kevin Nash's YouTube channel reach 100K subscribers. Kevin Nash reached out to his fans on Twitter over the weekend. His subscriber base went past 100K subscribers. Kevin Nash responded by thanking his fans for their support. What's y'all's take on this story? There's some news on Butch. So apparently, Butch is replacing Drew McIntyre for this week's episode of SmackDown. So he'll be Drew McIntyre's replacement. Drew McIntyre revealed he wasn't medically cleared to compete in a huge tag team match on the upcoming edition of SmackDown, leaving Sheamus without a partner. Here's that the Celtic Warrior has found a replacement. Drew McIntyre was originally booked to team up with Sheamus for the Undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship match on December 9th, 2022 edition of the Blue Brand. The Scottish Warrior tweeted out for Raw that he wasn't medically cleared to compete on SmackDown. WWE former WWE champion promised to return to action soon. WWE announced that Bully Brawling Brutes will replace Drew McIntyre for the Undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship match against the Usos this week on SmackDown. What's y'all's take on this story? So there was a report squashed about AEW talent not appreciating William Regal. So I just gave you guys your WWE Tuesday afternoon news. Butch replacing Drew McIntyre in WWE SmackDown this week was your last WWE Tuesday afternoon news. Now I'm going to go over your AEW Tuesday afternoon news. So apparently, I'm going to go ahead and start with y'all's news on. I'm going to go ahead and start with your news on reports squashing about AEW talent not appreciating William Regal. That's the news we're going to start with. My darn throat. I'm losing my darn voice for some reason. I don't know why. I shouldn't be losing my voice on a day like this when I have to go to work and stuff. I'm trying to go as fast as I can so I can get off of here and get ready for work. Because I got to be at work before 5:30 p.m. So I'm trying to go as fast as I can. My head feels kind of dizzy a little bit too. Hold on, let me go ahead. Let me find this freaking news article real quick. Because I can't find it nowhere. And it's pissing me off. There it is. So, a report was squashed about AEW talent not appreciating William Regal. Now, as previously reported, William Regal was officially parted ways with AEW. This was right after he written off television on last week's episode of AEW Dynamite. Busted Open Radio's Justin LeBar recently took to Twitter and mentioned rumors of how William Regal was not appreciated by talent. It says here, and I quote, "So what I'm picking up is Regal done with AEW. Back to WWE soon, close with HHH, but also his wisdom and coaching, not appreciated, received the way you would think someone would. Yeah, Mom. You would think by someone in AEW locker room who feel they have six-figure multi-year deals. And Regal's advice is behind times or beneath them. Naturally, many fans find this rumor to be unfounded. AEW star Brian Pillman Jr. saw the tweet and decided to set the record straight by debunking these rumors. So they go on to say that this is not entirely true. There are several of us, myself included, who spent multiple hours before TV working with Regal and learning from him. Should there have been more? Maybe. But he and Danielson always had a solid audience around the ring before. William Regal is expected to begin his WWE run next year. It remains to be seen what William Regal will do once he returns to WWE next year. His fans are excited to see his progress in WWE once he's back. What's y'all's take on the story? Let me know. Got some news on Konosuke. There's some news on Konosuke. Konosuke won over AEW fans in recent months. He competed in a series of terrific matches on AEW television against the likes of Claudio Castagnoli and John Moxley. Konosuke recently shared the terrible conditions in his apartment. His first night didn't go too well. Konosuke recently took to Twitter to detail his first night on his own apartment. His apartment has no bed or Wi-Fi, and he is having to sleep on just a mattress. Konosuke was also very scared while sharing the update because his apartment had no lights. Now, my thing is, why would Konosuke move into an apartment where there's no bed or Wi-Fi? And secondly, why would the apartment itself not have any lights? I don't get that. So he says here, and I quote, I am spending my first night in my own apartment. I have no bed, no Wi-Fi, so I have to sleep quietly on my mattress. I'm very jealous the light hasn't arrived yet. I can't wait for the month. Good night, end quote. The young Japanese wrestler saw a lot of success in Japan, winning multiple titles in various promotions before making his way to the U.S. early in 4 months. His entry into AEW was thanks to their relationship with his company in Japan. He later linked a deal with Tony Khan's company. Konosuke has competed in numerous promotions apart from AEW as well. I have to wait to see how Konosuke will fare as part of AEW from now on. Hopefully his living conditions will also improve in the future. There's news on Claudio Castagnoli. There's news on Thunder Rosa, and then I have the news on the participants of Dynamite, Diamond Ring, Battle Royal, and that'll be it. I'll be out of here after that. So I'm gonna have to go a little fast so I can get work on time. So Thunder Rosa is finally able to lift weights after brutal back injury. Now, while speaking on her bylaw, the former AEW Women's Champion provided an update on her recovery process. Thunder Rosa revealed that she is finally able to lift weights again. So that's good to hear. It says here, and I quote, the recovery is going well. This week, I was just able to do squats with a 2-pound dumbbell. I haven't done any lifting for the last 4 or 5 months, which is huge. 2 weeks ago, I was able to do a 5K, which I walked half the way because I'm not allowed to run. I can jog. That's pretty much it. Those are big milestones for me. I haven't not been able to be in the ring, so we're working on that. And end quote. Excuse me. Thunder Rosa has already reacted for forfeiting the title. We'll have to wait and see when Thunder Rosa will finally be able to make her return to the squared circle, as fans do miss her now. Writing, she is still under W contract. And we can only imagine how she will fight to regain her AEW Women's World title upon her return. She's never getting it back. Clearly. She's not getting it back. Jamie Hayter is the AEW World Champion now. They're not going to give a title back to somebody that's going to sit out with the title and not defend, and actually not defend. What's y'all's take on this recovery process? I got some news on Castagnoli. Got some news on Claudio Castagnoli. Castagnoli reacts to William Regal. Care about that flipping damn job. Castagnoli reacts to reports of William Regal's AEW exit. The former Ring of Honor World Champion commented on Regal's departure from AEW while speaking with Joey Hayden of Dallas Morning News. Says here, and I quote, I guess we have to wait and see, we're still talking. I think we have to have a little group meeting to figure out what's next. If there's a next. So yeah, I'll leave it at that. End quote. AEW star Brian Pillman Jr. set the record straight on rumors about AEW stars not listening to William Regal's advice as well. He's expected to join WWE after New Year's. What's y'all's take on this story? And then Castagnoli He didn't make the cut for the AEW Fight Forever launch roster. Castagnoli confirmed to Dallas Morning News that he will not feature in the video game at launch, considering he joined the promotion when the game was in the finishing stages. Says here, and I quote, "I am not in the version that initially comes out. I would think because I joined too late, and it was already like, probably in the finishing stages." End quote. Castagnoli continued to say the fans will be able to create him in-game if there is a create wrestler mode, but he's not sure about it. "I have no clue," he says, "how it works with downloads or like downloadable content or whatever. But I'm sure somebody will create me if there's a character, creator mode, or whatever it's called. So I don't think originally, but I'm sure that will change. I'll keep my fingers crossed," says Claudio. As of this article, there's no official release date announced for the AEW Fight Forever video game. Considering the game looks like it is almost complete, we might get an official announcement from AEW regarding the game's launch. All right, last AEW news of the day, and I got to get out of here, guys. I got to get ready for work. AEW reveals participants of Diamond Ring Battle Royal. AEW is set to bring back the Dynamite Diamond Ring Battle Royal this Wednesday on their flagship show. The first 7 participants for the high-stakes matchup have been revealed. They announced that Jungle Boy, Ethan Page, Ricky Starks, Brian Cage, Hardy, Dean, and Dalton Castle will compete in the Dynamite Diamond Ring Battle Royal, with more names to be announced soon. The co-winners of the matchup will square off against each other as the Winter is Coming special on December 14, 2022. The winner of the match will go on to receive a $150,000 diamond ring. The card for Dynamite tomorrow night is the Acclaim going against FTR for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. Darby Allin for the TNT Championship. Jay Cargill, the Baddies versus Kiera Hogan, Sky Blue, and Madison Rain. Diamond Ring Battle Royal. Castagnoli, Will Eula of the Blackpool Combat Club going at it against Daniel Garcia, Jack Hager. Jamie Hayter sits down with Tony Schiavone. Fans will hear from NJF and John Moxley. That is the card. And guys, that's going to do it for your WWE and AEW Tuesday afternoon news. I'm getting the heck out of here, man. I'm losing my voice. I can't even talk. I barely even talk anymore. If you guys enjoyed me giving you guys your WWE and AEW Tuesday afternoon news, let me know. Let me know. And be sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hit the thumbs up. Go check out all the other content I have on the channel this month and the content from last month. And I'll see you guys in the line chat for NXT tomorrow. I'll be off work, thankfully, finally. Be so glad when tomorrow get here. I will see you guys tomorrow for NXT and Dynamite. Peace, I'm out of here.